Привет из Дубая. Вами передача «Голубь мира», где разбираем крутые навыки. Спрашиваем на английском, отвечаем на русском. Подтягиваем язык или смотрим перевод в тайм-кодах. Let's talk about history and let's start with the definition.
History is a science when we start to learn what was happening before our knowledge. For example, what was happening 100 years ago, 1000, 1 million years ago. And it's very funny. People's history start from 3.6 million year prior birth of Christ. So it's very long time. But to be honest, just 200,000 years, we know what's happening because we could found bones, people's bones, in enough amount to make some suggestions. If we talk about history in written form, there is nothing to discuss. We have less than 1 point several zeros and 1% of knowledge which is written, because there are not too many plates of Sumer people or Egyptian people or maybe some other previous people. Yes, we have some Greek and we have some Romans. Yes, we have some how to say средневековье, middle age,
Medieval.
medieval scientists, but not too much. So not too much of our history is covered by written form.
Well, obviously, there is a question, what is the point to learn history? And maybe I probably try to slightly repurpose it and ask like from a different point of view. So let's say a bit unusual. Let's say I'm the business owner or I'm the person who just like going to the high cabinets and I need to probably, like learn a bit of history. Or maybe I'm just like a wanderer who just probably just want to have a casual conversation. So what is the point to know about the history?
When you know about history, this is like to have a huge library in your head. For example, when I go to negotiations or when I start some projects, sometimes I think about how it was done in, for example, in ancient times. And I could remember several similar cases. History has a saying, peoples never learn from history and they start it from the new, from the scratch, and sometimes they repeat their mistakes. Yes, it's pity, but who knows why people don't want to learn history. The same we could say about math, about physics, on chemistry, and so on. But if you know history, you know about betrayal, you know about victories, you know what happened when you have a wrong choice or wrong side.
And actually, maybe now I will look into one of the skills that we currently conducting is the consultancy. You're saying that always look for best practices. I do believe for the history, you actually could produce something which is opposite. Like you also may look for the worst practices. So how to actually look into this and see the patterns and use whatever you learned in the past in the present.
Yes, it's also the way to look to the history. Yes, you could have hope and some expectation for best, but also you should be preparing for worst. And yes, we already use this word betrayal. Sometimes it happens that very close people will betray you. And it's also about history. There is also saying that you will always have really true enemies, but you couldn't be sure the same way in your friends. So when you start to make business, you should remember that all kings and all emperors and all people who were leading the armies sometimes were betrayed by their people. And it's very sad to say, but maybe you have your accountant, maybe you have your IT guy, maybe you have security guy, maybe your butcher or some other people who serve you will say something which is make you very vulnerable, and it's very strong side when you could refrain to say them something sensitive.
Well, I guess at a certain point of time, we might be observing like a different Caesars who might be facing their own roots. And when it comes to the depth of the history, like how deep we probably should be going, especially, history is something that is written by someone, meaning that, someone might be guiding their own hands, or maybe they had something different in mind. So how deep we can go and how biased we should be when we're trying to look into a different facts.
I think we should go as deep as we can, because when we take into account just this Mediterranean history, or maybe Greek and Roman, this is not enough. Many people knows about these histories. When you know history about barbarian tribes, when they have fights and some other deals, you will find that not too many people know about Hannibal or some other historical persons, and this is really a field where you could learn more. Sometimes when I see that governor of some cities or president of the country make some decisions, suddenly I realize that this was copied exactly from the moment I know from the history. And it's very funny. Every person thinks, okay, I am clever and I could make my own decisions. But if you know history, you will always know that everything was already done. This is like the same with music. There is just 7 notes, and everything was in music already written by Beethoven, Bach, or some other composer. And to have hope that you will make something very special, it's okay, but it's not true.
And when it comes to, sometimes you might be reading something, or you might be facing certain bunch of information, you may be feeling that it was influenced by something, because obviously, people might be writing the history. So how to go around and avoid some sort of the biases, and still look for the right way, or maybe try to see the white and realize that there was a black.
It's not easy. When you make decisions, when you make some businesses, you always think that you are right because you have your vision. But other people's visions, they can be quite opposite to your point of view. So you think that you're right, but you think about just your efforts and about conditions which will suit your intention. But other people could have another wishes. For example, I want to build a church. Okay, it's a good one. But other people think, no, this place we could have a children garden. Maybe I would build a windmill, but other people will say, no, we need like atomic plant. And to take into account other people's wishes, this is very important. If you know history, you know that a very small person could lead a huge crowd against you.
And maybe this is the time when we will try to mix the history with a bit of philosophy. Like, for example, if you look into different civilizations, or maybe even certain a mini empires, or a kingdoms, it always seems that they go through certain cycles, from the very, very early stages to their high rise, and to the time when they were a sunsetting. So whether it's possible to apply this approach maybe to our personal life, to our business, or to anything else, and realize that we actually living in the cycles. We just don't really realize them, because we live in a very short moment of time, but we don't have this retrospective or prospective views.
I like the story about the land you currently staying on. This is from Dubai or Emirates. It was a time when governor of Emirates said such a saying. I was guiding camels, and it was a tough time. My son already drive a Mercedes, and this is middle time. And my grandson now uses like Wagen, and he do not know how to rule by camels and how to fight with desert. Easy times will help to appear just nice people, but tough times will help to appear very tough guys. So history, it's like a circle. So after each period, we will have tough and easy, tough and easy, with people, with behavior, with companies, with way how to earn money.
And obviously, when people look into all of this, sayings, quotes, manuscripts, or a different parts of the history, they might be having a misinterpretation. So, what are other mistakes, or maybe miscommunication, or misusage they may have, or they may do when they look into the history?
This is not about history. This is about marriage, but maybe it would be important for this issue. There is also a proverb in Russian which I like a lot. Old grandma saying to fiance, and she's saying, Never fight with your husband. You should fight together with a problem. So stay all together and fight with something which is external. The same with history. It's often happen that people fight with each other. You know, there is a philosophist which is named Thomas Hobbes, and he was saying, our history when house fights with another house, street fights with another streets for resources and so on, town with town, state with state, country with country. And yes, it could be, for example, we have tenders, we have a lot of commissions, we have sanctions, we have a lot of economical kind and diplomatical way how to press others, but better to work together, not against each other.
Well, and my last question will be how knowing about the history will help to make this world a better place.
You know, it's very funny. When you live in your small world, everything is quite usual and everything is happening as you expect. But if you like a small hobbit will go and look around in other lands, you will find people which have another clothes, another food, another songs, and you will see how they manage to grow children, how they work on their gardens and so on. And suddenly you will realize that you previously was known just one kind how to live, but there are a variety of ways how to make it. For example, previously you was living in a very cold city. Now you are living in a very hot country, and there are not too many same things. Different kitchen, different cuisine. Sorry, different clothes, different languages. But you are a rich person because you was touching several ways. Several cultures, several territories, the same with history. If you could not go in ancient Rome, you could imagine how it was happened and use the wisdom of Greek philosopher in your real life.
Чтобы построить будущее, надо знать прошлое. А мы рассмотрели навык история и чем он полезен именно нам. Всем мира.